Now, Ross Disputing's in the house. I'm in the mood to talk today because I've been making videos for a newfound friend who's a good gentleman. He's watching this right now, and his name is John, right? So, he's baptised me with enthusiasm to make more videos. So that's what I'm going to do. And today's subject is very dark, right? I'm not in a bad mood really, but I need to talk about this because it hasn't been recorded yet, and I just want it for the record, so the angels who are watching know from my own mouth what happened. It's about the book, the little book, and what happened in college. I'm going to talk about a number. I have them all sketched down here so I don't forget, because I think they're important. So it's about what happened in college to me when I presented the book project about losing my twin to suicide, and the whole talk is about bullying and being exploited and abused, and just every time I look back on my time in the institutions in trying to get my education together, that it's nothing but negativity and darkness, and it got so bad. I think the bullying and just the negative little things that happened to me in my time in college, that I lost my sanity completely. It's no secret that I was diagnosed schizophrenic. Well, I had a nervous breakdown because of all of these things that were happening to me. They all came on top of me all at once. So I'll just go through a few of them. I'll talk about the flame first, and then I'll bounce back to my time in Ballyfermot. Now, Ballyfermot was a preparation course to go into third level college. It was a portfolio preparation course. Well, I'll tell you what happened there. But I'll go straight to the book. This was in my third year, my final year of college, studying for a degree in art. Now, I often laugh that, 80% of the artists coming out of art colleges today, they can't draw or paint. They go in for their degrees and they think they're genius artists. Well, I regard myself as a true artist because I came away with a degree of insanity. I didn't get my degree. The only thing I got was a degree of insanity, but it gave me the spark to stand up in my own work and be confident about my own work. It's something that others might not have. So I'm qualified at least to speak in authority on my work because of it. But so you give thanks to God. Sometimes, God will turn an evil thing and a negative thing into a positive thing. I think of Joseph in the Bible and how he was treated, and he was rewarded in the end through all his suffering. So that's my hope. My hope is in God to turn everything around, and someday, so far I've looked back and I try to understand and forgive, and someday I hope that God will intervene and make it all make sense to me, what we all go through, not just myself. I mean, for everybody. It's a part of humanity. But this is my own little story. I'm not trying to be a mouthpiece for anybody else. I can only speak out of my own sovereign experience. I can only talk about my own experiences, and I wouldn't dare to become a voice for anybody else's experience. So you have to give me that much. It might sound like a complainer, but this is my life and I'm experiencing it, and I have a little bit to share. Other people will understand what I'm talking about. Definitely understand. And it's about bullying. So God be with all the people who have ever felt bullied by others. Just keep your chin up, and never let them fill you so full of poison that you resent yourself. If you're being bullied so much that you begin to hate yourself and even bully others, don't give in to the trap, because that's the whole point of it. They want to destroy you from within. They're like voices in your head, poison. Sometimes you become overflowing with poison. Well, it's not your poison. The poison was given to you. So just have faith in yourself that you're a good person and you don't deserve to be going through bullying. And there is light at the end of the tunnel. I know it myself. So I'm just going to complain. I'm really just going to complain about what happened. When I presented the book in my third year in college, the little book was a project dedicated to the death of my twin. My twin passed away when we were 19, and I never really dealt with it. And as I was an artist all my life, I was always artistically minded, and I felt more inclined to make art than do anything else. That I dedicated the project to Glenn's passing, to his suicide, and at the time there were things going on around me that I was so naive when I was younger that I didn't have a clue really what was going on around me. I wasn't diligent to my environment and who was around me at the time. I look back at it now and I see it as a dark satanic spirit that was hounding me all the days of my life that I didn't even realise was there. I didn't even believe in the devil nor Satan. But now looking back on it, I can pin it down. I know exactly what was going on. But at the time, there was this girl called, in my class, one of my peers, she was called Sarah. And Sarah was this English girl who was in my class. She had short hair and freckles and glasses. She looked like a boy. I think she was probably a feminist, so I don't know what she was. But at the time I was presenting my book, she came up with this self-directed project of, she was going around the college. What she was doing was she was acting out this persona. She had lost a sock. She was holding up a sock, walking around the college saying, "Have you seen my other sock? Did you find my other sock? I've lost my sock. Oh no, what am I going to do?" Now, at the time I didn't think anything of it. It was somebody else's art, modern art, that I didn't understand. I never do understand modern art. But it's only long time after, like years after, I look back and I think, Jesus, the reason she was going around with a sock saying she lost the other sock, it was parallel to the idea of twinship. Think of two socks as twins, and one of them is gone and one of them is lost, and the other one left is like lamenting, saying, "Where's my sock gone?" I look back on that and I see that was a blatant attack on my work. She was mocking my work. She wasn't mocking my work, she was mocking the idea that I was expressing grief for the death of my twin. This is how dark and deep and sinister they are. But they did it in such a subtle way that if you ever confronted, if I was aware of it at the time and I confronted her and explained the parallels, she'd say, "Oh, surely I don't know what you mean. It's only a little art project and it means something else, right?" This is how they do it. This is their attitude towards their victims. They, surely you're wrong, you're deluded, you're paranoid. This was before I was diagnosed paranoid schizophrenia. But looking back years after, I see how blatantly in my face she was mocking the idea that I had lost my twin, right? I think maybe the tutors knew exactly what she was up to and they didn't do anything about it. They just stood back and let it happen. There was bullying left, right and centre from my peers. I always felt that there was something uneasy in how they would interact with me. I remember bullying in Dunleary College. There's a thing in Dublin, this north side, south side divide, that the north side people are poor scumbags, they're all criminals, and the south side people are the educated, well off, middle class people. There is a divide there, and it's like an urban myth, like I don't know what to call it, but it does exist. There is a social division between the north and the south side. When I went into this third level college in the south side, I was often reminded that I was from north side Dublin by other people. I had this accent. There was one time in a lecture that there was this woman, she was a guest lecturer, she was presenting her work in one of these artist forums, and she literally did scribbles on a piece of paper. Just scribbles like a child's scribble, and she started talking about Switzerland, right? And I completely didn't get the work at all. I didn't understand. And I put my hand up, so naive, like I was eager to get this education and participate in the college. I put my hand up and asked the question. I says, as an artist, I said, at what point in your career did you decide it's not important to learn how to draw or paint or sculpt properly? I was genuinely curious to find out how an artist can present scribbles on a piece of paper and hope that the audience are going to get something from it. It was a genuine, innocent question. I wasn't attacking her. I look back now that she might have perceived it as attack, but she completely ridiculed me. She kept on saying, I don't understand the question. I don't understand, I don't understand. She was trying to say my accent was so heavy from Northside Dublin that she didn't understand the word out of my mouth. It's not that she didn't understand the question. She was pointing out to the rest of the people that I was from Northside Dublin. Your accent is too heavy, she said. We'll just have to move on. I don't understand what you're saying. This is what they do. There was a time when I was doing a printing block. I was experimenting with print, and I needed tin foil. Right, I was going to use tin foil to make these textures of skin, crinkled, wrinkled skin. So I came up with the idea to experiment with tin foil. So I went down to the kitchen in the college in Dunleary, and I asked for like a metre long of tin foil. When the chef heard that I was looking for tin foil, he was bantering jokes around all his peers and colleagues about oh, how many wraps will you get out of that? It's because I was Northside Dublin that they were making illusions that I was a drug dealer. It's very subtle bullying, you know. I felt ridiculed. It happened to my cousin as well, that because he wasn't from the south side, that he was bullied. He was called drug dealer. People were reporting him saying he was a drug dealer. It's because of where he was from, and that's all. Even though he was a good person and he would never do anything to hurt anybody. But my time in college, there was all constantly subtle bullying everywhere. And I remember, like, I was so alone in college that I never connected with anybody. It was like I was the black sheep in the group. I'll tell you what happened in rehab years later. But the point of my talking about Dunleary College is I suffered so much bullying that I just lost my sanity, and it happens to so many young kids in college that they end up losing their lives because of they end up in mental health wards because they can't handle what's going on around them. They end up committing suicide. I know a couple who have. So yeah, I'm making this video as a protest against it. If I had my way, I would come down on the institutions like a ton of bricks, because I think the tutors know what's going on and they don't intervene, they don't do anything. My time, so we have the book with the girl. There was one time I presented the dance, the shame and possession dance, but because I wasn't academically minded, I spelled possession wrong. There was 4 S's in possession. I spelled it with 3 S's, right? The only thing the group could do when it came to presenting my work to the group was to criticise my spelling and make it really clear that I'm a dumb fuck, you know, that I don't belong in college. They didn't care how much their words would hurt, you know. It wasn't even a kind and helpful criticism to say, look, you need to just be a little bit more careful with your spelling. I mean, they were ridiculing me, you know, bouncing ideas around themselves, like talking about me but not talking to me, you know. It was a really fucking strange experience. So this so I cracked up. I basically cracked up. I talk about plagiarism now in college. My years in Ballyfermot now, the Ballyfermot was a year before I went into Dunleary College. There's huge amounts, I think there's a really big conspiracy set up against the students, where every person, every student going in the doors, they're being milked and used and exploited for every single novel idea that comes out of their mouth. I think the institutions are set up to use the kids for free. I'll tell you why. When I was in Ballyfermot College, they had a freelance lecturer come in for a design block. We were doing graphic design for a few weeks. So this fella named Declan, right? His name was Declan, and he was a freelance tutor who come in to do this design course with us. He gave us a brief. Now, he was working as a freelance designer outside of college. He wasn't a dedicated college tutor, so he was working for companies earning money left, right and centre. He came into the college and he set us a little brief. He set us a project to come up with a beer bottle, or you know, a beer beverage with a label. We have to design a label for a beer bottle. So we all set to work, and out of all the group, right, he came over to my desk. He focused in on me because of the idea I had, and he focused in on me, and he stood beside my desk, and he pointed at my work, and he says, "I really like that idea." And then he walked away. Now he focused on my work, like he pointed it out. My idea was to it was around the time Bill Clinton, the sex scandal with Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Well, I have a witty mind, so I came up with a joke just for fun about the idea was Lewinsky beer. You know, the catchphrase was "goes down easy," right? Goes down easy, Lewinsky beer, right? It's a joke about Lewinsky going down on Bill Clinton, right? So I designed this label, and he said, "I really like that work." The point I'm trying to make is that not 6 months later, not long after I presented the idea in college, that I find on the television that there's an advert for beer, a new advert come out by Coors Light for beer, and the catchphrase was "goes down easy," right? I think I was completely plagiarised. I can't prove it. Like, I don't know who Declan was, I don't know his last name, I don't know who he worked for, but I have a vision of him standing in a presentation to the Coors Beer Company saying, "Oh, I came up with this really cool idea, it's really witty, oh, it's based on Lewinsky beer, you know, haha, I'm not really fucking clever, you know." I have a vision of this graphic designer completely ripping me off and presenting my idea as if it was his. And this is what happens in college. I mean, the parallels between my presentation in college and the Coors Light beer goes down easy. They didn't even change the slogan. That's how close it was. I'm altogether convinced that I was robbed. So that's what they do in college to the kids. Being in Dunleary College, I presented the Eternal Flame, the one community, one light design, and I put it up on the wall in Dunleary, and of course I got, you know, marks for it. But I found out years later, I only caught a glimpse of it on the television, that my design was used in the presentation for the Best of Irish Awards 2010. I think it was sponsored by the Star newspaper or something. But TV3 did it, the Best of Irish Awards on television. And the trophy, I only ever caught a glimpse of the trophy, you know, the little trophy they present to the winners. It was my fucking design, the two people the Flame designed. I think somebody at some point completely ripped me off, right? Maybe it was the college that used the design and presented it, I don't know. Maybe somewhere in some fucked up small print clause in your participation in college that they have all the rights to your work and they can do anything they want with it. They didn't even mention my name. This is a part of the bullying. This is the part of the thing that fucking, it took my sanity away. So it's completely robbed. I'd warn every college student in the world, just be wary. Just don't bare your soul. Don't give them any of your good ideas. They don't deserve it. They're just there to rob you and fucking use you. So if you want a degree, spend your 3 years learning how to draw and paint. You know, you don't need a tutor's approval, a pat on the back, so they can make thousands and thousands of pounds off your work and you won't even be mentioned. You'll be forgotten like a dead man. When I cracked up in college, I was being filled with every single corrupt idea under the sun in the art lectures. Like, we're being presented with ideas of fucking using animal entrails as art, based in people in animal entrails, human blood, Gilbert and George shitting into their own hands, and that was all being normalised and glorified in the art lectures, that they were filling your mind full of corruption. And then when I cracked up and realised how corrupt everything was, I just had a nervous breakdown. They washed their hands completely clean of me. It's nothing to do with us. They didn't even, I don't think they called my mother to ask how I was. When I cracked up and I went into hospital, I was in a very seriously bad way when I cracked up, and I got no visit, no letter from the college to say how sorry they were it's happening, nothing. They completely washed their hands clean. And my head was full of their shit, full of their corruption. Yeah, so like the bullying, it just goes on. They wash their hands clean of me. I spent 3 years with the group, with the people I do. It was just came this close to getting my degree, and of course it cracked up, and I fell ill, seriously ill, and I couldn't finish the course. I didn't even get a mention in the class reunion. You know, I wasn't invited to any reunion. I was like a fucking leper to them after all the bullying and all the fucking shit in Dunleary. That I didn't even get an invitation. Nobody ever checked in with me to say, look, we can't. You didn't get your degree, so we can't invite you to the reunion. But you're welcome to come along to blah blah. They just didn't want to know me, right? Because of the things that came through me. I'll tell you what happened. I think after my time in college, I was bullied. Not bullied. I mean, badly advised. I was pressured. The mental health services were pressuring me to get back to life and get back to college, which I think I went back too early because I wasn't ready. I was still very fragile mentally. I was still very unwell, but they pressured me to do something, get up out of bed. So I went back to college. I tried to go back and finish my degree. And of course the bullying was still there. I remember when I was after I had my nervous breakdown, this was like a couple of years after, I went back to college and I tried to adjust back into the environment. Well, I was talking on the phone to somebody who I knew. I was asking him, would you be interested in coming down to see me work, just to talk, bounce a few ideas around. This is why I was having a conversation on my mobile phone in where we all worked as the students, and from behind a petition in the room I heard some little fucking arsehole mimicking my conversation, saying, oh, I'm really lonely, won't you come down and see me, you know, I have some brilliant ideas, I'm fucking brilliant, I'm just so lonely, I need to reach out and contact somebody. Right, this is the conversation I heard across the room behind the partition. Like, he's completely mocking me. That the bullying was still there, obviously, so I felt sick again. I was in counselling the second time. I went back with my diagnosis I went in as a disabled schizophrenic trying to do my degree. I was having counselling with a woman named Katie Hendrick. Right now, I was told, she said, she gave me the choice, do I mind if she contacts other people outside the counselling sessions, if she needs to contact anybody about anything, does she have my permission? Now, I didn't know really what that meant. I said, yeah, sure, you know, everything's open and above board and honest, you know, there's nothing to hide. I'm an honest man, like, I have nothing to hide, so there'd be no harm in you talking to anybody else about it. I gave her permission. Right now, I was telling her about this bullying, about these conversations. I told her, like, I don't hear voices, right? It did actually happen that there were people in the room mimicking my conversation on the phone in a really belittling way, and she didn't address it, right? It was just, I mentioned it once and then it went by the wayside. Nothing was done about it. There was no investigation as to find out, was there any bullies, did anybody in the group have a problem with me, or why would they do that? There was no investigation, there wasn't even a sorry to say, I'm sorry this is happening, can we provide you with a quiet room where you can work alone? Nothing was, I wasn't supported, completely wasn't supported. I was treated like a fucking, I don't know what, like a spectacle, like a leper spectacle. And I was ostracised, I felt isolated, and so I was talking to this counsellor in Dunleary College, and in all the stress in my personal life as well, there were things going on with the new diagnosis of schizophrenia. I had a thing about wanting to be a vegetarian, right? I wanted to change my ways altogether and be transformed completely into something better than I was. So I had a really big problem from the time I broke down. I had a problem with smoking, first of all, and I had a really big problem with eating meat. And I all of a sudden, by breaking down and cracking up, by becoming this sick in the head schizophrenic, so they call you, I viewed life as holy. I woke up to God in heaven and I seen all life on earth is holy, so I didn't want to eat meat anymore. I didn't want to be a part of bloodshed and death for any living thing. I had a serious problem inside. The counsellor, she honed in on the fact that I didn't want to eat meat, right? And she says, "Can you elaborate on that? Can you tell me more about that? That's on your mind. Can you elaborate?" She said. So I tried my best to elaborate, to articulate exactly in detail what was going on. Like a fool, like a lamb to the slaughter I was. I said to her, well, I said, like, I'm worried about eating meat. I don't like the idea of death. Every time I put meat in my mouth, it's putting dead flesh in my mouth. I said, sometimes I have nightmares about it. I wake up after having nightmares of eating dead flesh. I don't like the texture, I don't like the idea, I don't like the taste anymore. Right? That's what I said to her. And she says, right, by the way, I'm now very happily vegetarian. The guilt of bloodshed is off my shoulders now. I respect life completely. I'd encourage anybody else to examine what life is and how holy it is, and the idea of bloodshed and hurting another living being. I'm not preaching. I love the taste of bacon still, but I wouldn't eat it, right? The point is, when I told the counsellor this, she wrote a letter. First of all, she obviously told somebody about this thing that I'm wanting to be a vegetarian. She honed in on the idea that I was having nightmares about eating dead flesh, right? She honed in on just that. She didn't talk about the rest, about the spiritual stuff, about wanting to be a vegetarian because life is holy. She focused in on, I'm having nightmares about eating dead flesh, right? That's what she focused in on. She told somebody else, right? A doctor in the college wrote a letter to my mental health clinic, my psychiatrist, and the doctor in the college claimed, first of all, she lied by saying she was seeing me on a regular basis, right? I couldn't tell you who the doctor was. I've never seen her face in my life. I've never seen the woman. I've never had regular consultations with the doctor at all. I was having consultations with Katie Hendrick, the counsellor. But this doctor, whoever her name was, I forget her name, she claimed that she had constant contact with me and I'm having ideation of eating flesh. She was saying I was dreaming about eating flesh, right, to my psychiatrist. She was trying to paint the picture that I'm a sick in the head fucking psychopath, that I want to eat somebody's liver, right? This is what she was trying to get at. Do you see how my words were completely fucking twisted? I was like a complete targeted individual, victim of other people's dark-mindedness. I lost my freedom after that. I was hauled in by the mental health services for care, right? I lost my freedom. I think it was because of that letter written by somebody who I never met, claiming that she's seen me on a regular basis, twisting all my words out of context, making me out to be some kind of fucking monster. I think the whole point of it was they have this label, paranoid schizophrenic, that they have to look for every reason to reinforce the label, so to make themselves look correct, right? They twist every word out of my mouth to twist it around. Oh, he said this, but what he really means is this, right? They need to reinforce the label and make me look like some kind of sick monster. That's what they were doing to me. I was completely bullied and victimised, and it's a protest. This is what happened in college. I don't know what else to say. This started as about the bullying, about the book. Now it's gone into a rant about everything that's ever happened to me in college. I tell you, I'll never go back. And if I had a son today who was going into college, I wouldn't let him go in. Not into art college. I'd take away the funding. You see all the funding for Dunleary College and everything, I'd cut it off, because it's nothing but satanic corruption all the way. And anything good in there is just crushed. They don't like true human beings. They don't like sovereign individuals. They don't like the only thing they like is novel ideas so they can use them at the expense of the student. Right? So, course beat the Dunleary College. Course beat them all. You know, they're just, it's just a trap. That's all it is. So good luck to you. Yeah, so I'm going to play a psalm, right, to top this all off, just for a reminder for all the people who are listening and watching and sneering and scoffing at this. There's a little psalm that was written thousands of years ago that happens to mean something today, and I'll just play it for you. And I'll play it to the sculpture that got robbed, right? The sculpture that is my own beautiful human sentiment work. This is the psalm for you, and this is my sculpture. One community in one life.
Psalm 37. Do not fret because of evil men, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass they will soon wither, like green plants they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord, and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret, it leads only to evil. For evil men will be cut off, but those who hope in the Lord will inherit the land. A little while, and the wicked will be no more. Though you look for them, they will not be found. But the meek will inherit the land and enjoy great peace. The wicked plot against the righteous and gnash their teeth at them. But the Lord laughs at the wicked, for he knows their day is coming. The wicked draw the sword and bend the bow to bring down the poor and needy, to slay those whose ways are upright. But their swords will pierce their own hearts, and their bows will be broken. Better the little that the righteous have than the wealth of many wicked. For the power of the wicked will be broken, but the Lord upholds the righteous. The days of the blameless are known to the Lord, and their inheritance will endure forever. In times of disaster they will not wither. In days of famine they will enjoy plenty. But the wicked will perish. The Lord's enemies will be like the beauty of the fields. They will vanish like smoke. The wicked borrow and do not repay, but the righteous give generously. Those the Lord blesses will inherit the land, but those he curses will be cut off. If the Lord delights in a man's way, he makes his steps firm. Though he stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. I was young, and now I am old. Yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, or their children begging bread. They are always generous and lend freely. Their children will be blessed. Turn from evil and do good. Then you will dwell in the land forever. For the Lord loves the just, and will not forsake his faithful ones. They will be protected forever. But the offspring of the wicked will be cut off. The righteous will inherit the land, and dwell in it forever. The mouth of the righteous man utters wisdom, and his tongue speaks what is just. The law of his God is in his heart. His feet do not slip. The wicked lie in wait for the righteous, seeking their very lives. But the Lord will not leave them in their power, or let them be condemned when brought to trial. Wait for the Lord, and keep his way. He will exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, you will see it. I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a green tree in its native soil. But he soon passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. There is a future for the man of peace. But all sinners will be destroyed. The future of the wicked will be cut off. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He is their stronghold in time of trouble. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in Him. Psalm 41. Blessed is he who has regard for the weak. The Lord delivers him in times of trouble. The Lord will protect him and preserve his life. He will bless him in the land, and not surrender him to the desire of his foes. The Lord will sustain him on his sick bed and restore him from his bed of illness. I said, O Lord, have mercy on me, heal me, for I have sinned against you. My enemies say of me in malice, when will he die and his name perish? Whenever one comes to see me, he speaks falsely, while his heart gathers slander. Then he goes out and spreads it abroad. All my enemies whisper together against me. They imagine the worst for me, saying, a vile disease has beset him. He will never get up from the place where he lies. Even my close friends whom I trusted, he who shared my bread, has lifted up his heel against me. But you, O Lord, have mercy on me. Raise me up that I may repay them. I know that you are pleased with me, for my enemy does not triumph over me. In my integrity you uphold me and set me in your presence forever. Praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. Amen and Amen.